Welcome to today's webinar, Learn to Prospect with JLR. Please forward your questions after the webinar at support@JLR.ca. But before we start, let's have a quick peek at the company's profile. JLR has been collecting, compiling, and distributing the various transactions that are published at the Land Registry Office since 1986. So since then, we've gathered over 5 million transactions, and that's updated daily. We also took 1.4 million property pictures, but frontage only, and we have over 2.1 million property assessment units in the database. So basically, JLR becomes your one-stop shop because you can analyze by using a specific property address. You can estimate market value, and this is good for the entire province. And you can also prospect with JLR. So in today's webinar, we'll be looking at that aspect. Specifically, we'll be looking at the JLR's 411 link in the prospecting tool in order to be able to do cold calls, and also how to do mailouts using labels, and also how to create Excel spreadsheets. So let's get going directly in the JLR website. And here we go. Okay, so in order to use a prospecting tool, you need to go on the menu on the left, and the fourth option from the top is right here, prospecting tool. So simply click on that hyperlink or button, and then you'll see the three tabs at the top. Now, depending on what it is that you want to do, this will determine which tab you use. But quickly, the address tab requires a street. So this means that you want to find out all the owners on a specific street. The FSA is for the first three characters of a postal code. For example, I would like to reach H9R owners. That's it. Very simple. And if you're not sure what H9R represents, hyperlink right here on the right, see FSA map, and this will open up a link to Canada Post. You'll have all the FSAs, and then you can click on the one that you want to verify. And then the third option is City or Municipality tab, which means you want to look up owners in a specific city, and you have your drop down here. You choose which city, you specify which type of property you want, and it's as simple as that. But let's start with the first one on the left, the address. So in this example, I would like to get a list of all the owners on a specific street in Outremont, and the street is Dunlop. I know there's over 100 houses on that street, and I'm having a hard time finding all the owners. So this is the tool to use. So again, prospecting tool, you're on the address tab. It's perfect because you need to specify a specific street. So in your municipality, you would have to write Montreal. And remember, Outremont is now a borough in Montreal. So I chose Montreal, and then the boroughs here, and I would choose Outremont. Okay. And then I can select my street. Drop down, it's Dunlop. And remember, when you have a drop down, this is all indexed, so you can just type DUN, and this will bring you to the first street that starts with DUN, so it's very quick. Now here you have a choice of entering a minimum and maximum street number. Now in my case, I want all the owners on the street, so I will leave this blank. However, if it's a very big street, for example, Gouin Boulevard, where you would just want a segment, okay, then you could use the from to street number. Then you have your category, and the category represents the property types. Okay, so we have all property types, residential, and then there's subcategories, multi-rental, semi-commercial, land, industrial, whatnot. It's all there. So in this case, it's not necessary because I know that on Dunlop Street, it's all residential, but we could just specify it just in case. And the rest is very straightforward. Units, minimum, maximum. For this particular search, it's not important because it's all one unit. And floors, which is really a number of stories, I'll leave empty. But if you want to specify just two-story buildings and leave out the one-story or the bungalows, then you can use this, okay, and specify it from 2 to 2. minimum, maximum, and then you would only have two-story buildings. Okay, but we'll leave this empty. Now, what you'll notice here is that the button is on prospecting list. So I'll leave it there. By default, that's where it is. All right, so I will launch my search, and what I'm looking for is all the owners on Dunlop Street in Outremont. I want their name, and if possible, when they bought, etc. And I'll see that there's a 411 hyperlink. So I click on search. Now, depending on your package, you will have a note that will appear that will say there are, let's say, 100 properties. This will cost you this much. And for this webinar, I can't really give you a specific example because it all depends on your package. But what I want to make sure, though, is that the list that I have right here, okay, you will have a confirmation before it appears, and it will the system will tell you how much it's going to cost you. So there's no surprises. Now I have a different package because I am a trainer, so I go directly in the result. But what's great is that I have it's a PDF page, first of all. There's no pictures because we want this as a quick reference. Okay, so it tells me I have 14 pages. It's a PDF document that I can save or print. Okay, on the left, I have property addresses 612 Dunlop, 615, 616, and owner, Pierre Simard. So this is great because I have all my owners here and also the last transaction that JLR collected for this particular property. All right. So for example, this one here, 632 Dunlop. Owner, I have two owners. So if there's three owners, four owners, you'll have all the names. So I have Karen and Ian who live at 632 Dunlop. Most of the time in residential, they will live at the address of the property. Now I have my 411 hyperlink here. I won't click on it yet, but just bear it in mind. And what I want to show you here is the last transaction that JLR collected on this specific property. It happens to be a sale. So these people bought it in July 2007. Okay, they paid $2 million, and currently it's evaluated at 2.5, almost 2.6 million. So this is very interesting because not only do I get the owner names, but I also know when they bought and for how much and what it's evaluated or assessed at currently. Okay, so this is interesting information. And the fact that they bought 7 years ago makes me think, well, maybe I can call them and, maybe either try to list or whatever it is that I want to do. So I just want to show you the 411 hyperlink. So although this is a PDF, we've embedded a hyperlink, a 411 hyperlink. So like the 411 hyperlink that sometimes you get a hit, sometimes not, depending on the owners if they decided to withdraw their names. So I just clicked on it, and you'll notice that it redirects me directly to the 411 page. Now if I go down, I'm looking for 632 Dunlop, okay, and here we are. Ian, okay, 632, and here's the phone number. It's as simple as that. Sometimes you find the phone number, sometimes you don't. But regardless, had you minimized the page and done it yourself, it makes no difference because the search is automated, which makes things a lot quicker. So that was my example with a specific street. Now let's say that I had 14 pages and maybe 10 per page, so that's 140 owners. And I'm not into cold calling, let's say. I don't feel like calling. I would rather send them a nice letter. So this is also possible. So you just go back in your search page, and we'll leave it as is, except that little button here, I will put it at mailing labels list. Before that, we had it here, right? Prospection list. Now I'll put it here. And when I click on this, this opens up here. Now what it's telling me is I have a choice of three outputs. Now the first two are Avery outputs, which means that if you want to print labels, you have to buy the Avery kind, Bureau en gros, whatever, and 5160 or 62 will both work. Basically, it's 8.5 by 11 and 3 columns of stickers. You put that in your printer and you're ready to go and print. Now, if you want, you can also say, well, you know what, JLR, I'd rather get an Excel spreadsheet, and the content of your spreadsheet will be the equivalent or the same thing as labels, which means owner name and full address. You're not getting the full status when they bought, how much they bought for, this and that. When you print labels, it's simply an address. Okay, so I'll just choose this one just to show you how it works. And it's the same principle. When you click on search, the system will tell you how many there are and how much it's going to cost you. You have to click yes to confirm in order to get your result. So I'm just going to click on search, and I'll get my results right away on the page because I have a training username and password. And this gives me some benefits. Okay, so here we go. Remember, our first one on the other list was Pierre Simao. Now here he is. So this is a basically my 8.5 by 11, 3 columns of stickers. And Ian is right here at 632 Dunlop. So see, this is the content. It doesn't say that Ian bought in 2007 and paid 2 million, whatever. Okay, so when we're talking about mailing labels, this is it. So some people ask, well, can we do both? Yes, you can do both. You can print your page, okay, the previous list that we had, and then you can print labels so that you have more information. But there's a charge for both lists, though. Okay, so this is as simple as that. And if you choose to go with the Excel spreadsheet, you just click on search. So I leave the same criteria here. Click on search. And just to show you that you're not going to get any more information than the labels, but it's very handy to have because if you want to do some mail merge or anything fancy with your Excel spreadsheet, then by all means use that, and it doesn't cost more. It's the same price. So this is it. So you have the name, postal code, street address, and the city here. So in some cases it says Outremont, some cases it says Montreal. It doesn't matter, as long as you have the postal code, it'll get there. Okay, so this is it. Now, so that was with the address tab. Okay, so the address tab again, what's special about this one is that you have a street name, whereas you can specify owners on a specific street. If you go on the FSA tab and you're looking to put in the street, I mean, it's useless because there's no street field. You really have to go in the address one. So again, the FSA is to enter H9R, for example. Okay, so it's just to have a portion of a city. Okay, and the rest is the same. And then you have your municipality. So in this one, I'm just going to show you how cool this is. I'm looking for fiveplex buildings in Lachine because I have a client that's looking for fiveplex. I know there's a couple for sale, and he's not really interested in those two, so I have to find more. And my first step is to identify where they are and who the owners are, and then maybe call them or send a letter. So again, this is a perfect tool to do this. So you go in Prospecting Tool, you click on your municipality tab. Okay, so I know that Lachine, it's Montreal, so I would choose Montreal right here. And then my borough is highlighted, so I can go in and choose Lachine. See how quickly that is? And then in my category, this is where it's very important to choose well. So if I look at residential, I have duplex, triplex, and I don't have my fiveplex. Okay, so I have to look elsewhere. And you'll find it in multi-rental under 4 to 11 apartments. These are codes that are used by the cities throughout the province. So I have to go by those codes. Okay, 4 to 11, but I specifically want fiveplex. And this is where the units field comes in handy. So I can specify from 5 to 5. And I don't care how many floors or stories, okay, as long as it's 5 units. In the category called 4 to 11 in Lachine, I want my prospecting list, okay, and then I will launch my search. The good thing about this is that I will get the owner name and I will get the owner address. And so if I send out labels or whatever, it'll go to the right address. So it's the same principle. On the left, you have your addresses. So here I have 11 pages with about 10 per page. So there's over 100 fiveplex in Lachine, and here I thought there was only like 20. So this is great for me because I have a lot of choice. So again, you look at the address, you look at the last transaction here. Occurred in 2007, but it's a transmission. So Muguet Leclerc did not pay for this property. It was a succession. And for instance, this one here, Kevin and Patrick Carroll paid for it in 2007 July, 325, and it's right now evaluated at 613. So it's very interesting to see how much they paid and the current value, and that's not even the market value, right? That's the evaluation. Here again, you have your 411 links, and then if you want to start, doing some cold calling, then it's all up to you. But JLR gives you the tools to go and do it quickly. And if I wanted to do the same search but do a mailing list, this is how I would do it. Click here and click on search, and that's it. It's as simple as that. And decide on 5160 or Excel. So this is great. Now, you can do this for any type of property, and that's the great thing. I want to contact, there's a lot of people that work apartment buildings, and they have a hard time, identifying them. So again, this is the perfect tool. So I could just say I'm going to change borough and Côte des Neiges. I'm looking for, um, you know, big apartment buildings, 50 and up. Click. That's it. It's as simple as that. I'm going to get the entire list with the owners, their addresses, and when they bought or when they became owner of that property. It's very simple. Now, the thing that I can tell you is there's a maximum, though, of 500 that you can pull out when you use that tool, prospecting tool. So here we go. It's all there. All the owners in Côte des Neiges, NDG of 50 units and more. Um, that's it. So you can export 500 maximum with this tool. So for example, if I'm looking for I don't know, all the houses in now I've been talking about Pointe Claire, so I'm going to do something. I want to get a list of all the properties in Pointe Claire, residential, single dwelling. Okay, and then I'm going to remove my 50 here. I launch my search. I leave it on prospecting list, search, and here. Please adjust your search criteria more than 500 results. So this will happen if you're looking for especially residential. So municipality works well, but for types of buildings where you don't have as many as residential. So that's why I was able to do with the fiveplex or apartment buildings. If you want to get a list of properties in Pointe Claire, for example, you might have to use the FSA, which is a little bit smaller, but even though you'll have more than 500, or the address tab where you can specify streets. Now, if you would rather get a bulk file that contains over 500, JLR can certainly do that for you. However, this is a call to your sales rep and with the specifications and say, I can only pull out 500 from the website. I would be interested in having the entire list of owners of this city, this type of property, blah, blah, blah. So you mention your criteria to your sales rep, and you will have a quote as to how many buildings this represents and how much it represents. And if it's good, then we create the Excel spreadsheet for you, and then it's all yours to use. And then we can also send you updates quarterly or whatnot. So this is great, and it's a custom product, and a lot of our customers and members are not aware that this exists. But by all means, if you find that 500 is not enough in this prospecting tool, get a quote and see if this will be sufficient for you. So this is pretty much it for the prospecting tool. So again, you have 3 tabs, and depending on what you want to do, this will determine which tab you use. And again, you have the 2 buttons here. Again, if you want to have a full list, you use this one, and this one will only print the information regarding the owner in a label format, or if you go down a little bit more, you can have an Excel spreadsheet. However, it's not the full information, it's just the label information. And with all these searches, you have a maximum of 500 that you can pull out. If you have questions while you're on the system, quickly, there's a contact us button right here. So it's open weekdays from 9 to 5. By all means, you can call there and you can get help. And so this is the contact information for services and packages. So when I mentioned that if you want an Excel spreadsheet or a database created for your specific needs, these are our reps here. So we have 4 reps in the various regions. So Montreal is Joanie. Our information's here. Laval and North Shore is Hugo. South Shore is France, and Quebec City is Dominique. So don't hesitate to call them and get a quote should you want more than 500. So I will say have a good day and see you at the next webinar.